very uncomfortable for you.
It's the shocking police video sparking nationwide debate.
Hands up in the air!
Newly released body cam footage of officers responding to a potential shooter in a hotel.
A man with a gun call high up in a hotel set the whole tone for the evening.
But did the response match the threat?
Hey, do not shoot me!
And does the punishment fit the crime?
What took place that night is something you would expect from ISIS in Fallujah.
My job was to protect the team, and I was simply doing that.
This is the most twisted game of Simon Says that anybody has ever played.
Before that now infamous video, there were these happy home movies from the life Lainey Sweet shared with her husband, Daniel Shaver, the man she met when she was just 16.
That's young.
Yeah, we were really young. We fell in love at a music festival called Bonnaroo at a Pearl Jam concert. And after we came back, we were just always a couple.
It was a bond formed over a shared love of music, but Lainey says that it was actually their differences that helped keep them close.
He just was naturally goofy and silly. He was very easygoing and laid back, so I'm more serious and like emotional.
So was he able to sort of break through that, your seriousness, and get you to laugh a lot? And
yeah, I think people say opposites attract, like we were each other's opposites.
But they were always on the same page when it came to one thing. Make that two. Their daughters, Natalie and Emery.
I want two.
Danny loved his children and did everything he could for them.
But to provide for the family he loved, Daniel had to take a job that often took him far from home.
His job was to go to warehouses, Targets, Walmarts, and get rid of vermin and pests and pigeons.
He was gone usually like 25 days a month, and so he sacrificed almost all of his life and his time out there like making money just to give the girls things that he never had.
And so when Daniel got offered a job in Mesa, Arizona, even though it was nearly 1,000 miles away from his home, he packed up the pellet gun he used for work and said goodbye to his family in Dallas. Once in Mesa, Daniel checked into this room at the La Quinta Inn. Lainey says they talked throughout the day. And because of that, she has trouble remembering exactly what was said during their last conversation that night. But in every other way, it is a call she will never forget.
I think back to the timing of things, and had I just stayed on the phone a little bit longer, if one thing would have been different, none of this could have happened.
Less than an hour after that call, Mesa police receive another.
911 emergency.
Hi, I'm with the La Quinta, and a couple of the guests that come to me, I'm an employee here, they come to me and they told me that somebody's pointing a rifle outside of one of the windows in our building.
There were two individuals who were by the hot tub area who saw somebody in the room who they said they believed had what looked like a gun. And they reported it to the hotel, and then the hotel called the police.
The room in question was 502, and the person staying there.
Okay, his name, Daniel Shaver.
Just 3 minutes after that 911 call, Officer Philip Brailsford responds to the hotel. His body cam is recording as he eventually joins the other officers.
How many mags you got on you? Can I steal one just to throw in my back pocket?
Sergeant Charles Langley is commanding the team and tells Brailsford to provide lethal coverage.
All right, let's go. Come on in.
Minutes after arriving, the team moves to the 5th floor, advancing within just 20 feet of room 502. It is there where Daniel is believed to be inside with another hotel guest named Monique Portillo. Officer Brailsford keeps his gun trained on the end of the hallway, while Sergeant Langley stands right behind him just off camera. It is Langley's voice you will hear in the minutes to come.
Occupants of room 502. This is the Mesa Police. Listen to my instructions. I want the female to step out.
At first, no answer.
Occupants of room 502. This is the Mesa Police. Listen to my instructions, or it's going to become very uncomfortable for you.
Finally, another officer calls Daniel's room from the front desk, and this time, he answers.
Stop right there! Stop!
Monique comes out first. She's stunned by what she sees.
Monique, you know, she has no clue what's going on. I mean, she keeps walking and then the officer starts screaming.
Stop!
Daniel is next.
Stop! Get on the ground, both of you! Lay down on the ground! Lay down on the ground!
So he comes out, he sees the officers with these guns trained on him, and so what you see on the video is it going from confused to fearful.
Can you both hear and understand me?
Yes.
All right. If you make a mistake, another mistake, there's a very severe possibility you're both going to get shot. Do you understand that?
Yes.
I do.
Yes. All right. Shut up. I'm not here to be tactful and diplomatic with you. You listen, you obey.
Then,
Young lady, shut up and listen.
Sergeant Langley orders Monique to crawl toward the officers before turning his attention back to Daniel.
Okay, young man, you are to keep your legs crossed. Do you understand me? Sir. You are to put both of your hands, palms down, straight out in front of you. Push yourself up to a kneeling position. I said keep your legs crossed! I'm sorry.
When you watch the video, he goes from very compliant, he's just trying to get across to the officers that he's listening, that he is obeying. And at some point, though,
I didn't say this in conversation. Hands in the air! Hands up in the air!
you see Daniel break down.
You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand? Please do not shoot me. Then listen to my instructions. I'm trying to do it. Don't talk, listen! Hands straight up in the air. Your hands go back into the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me? Yes, sir.
Daniel Shaver in the video is crying and begging for his life. He's saying, please don't shoot me. And then they say, crawl forward, and they scream at him, crawl forward.
Crawl towards me.
We want to warn you. What happens next is extremely disturbing.
Crawl towards me.
He's crawling forward, and he's wearing baggy basketball shorts. And his hand goes slightly up to readjust his shorts. And that's when they open fire.
Don't
5 shots from Officer Brailsford's gun, 0.8 of a second, and Daniel Shaver falls dead.
get up on him.
It is only later that officers will discover is unarmed.
Okay, secure your weapon. Secure your weapon.
Secured.
Okay, go. You're up.
There's no disputing that the manner of Daniel Shaver's death was homicide. The question is, at least in the eyes of the law, was it justified? Coming up,
This was absolutely murder.
arguments in the aftermath.
An officer doesn't have to wait until they see the cold glint of steel.
Plus,
I knew that from then on, like, nothing would be the same. I just started saying no, and I just remember hearing whatever Disney movie was in the background. And then that moment that first hit me where I realized, oh my God, my kids just lost their dad, and I have to tell them.